guys. I'm excited to come at y'all one more time with another lesson you understand. Welcome to another episode of the Manhood Mentor Show. I am your gracious host, JABAR Lance Brown, a 6-foot giant reporting for duty. Huh? Hello, and today's lesson we're going to be talking about equity. Yeah, we're going to be talking about equity. You understand? And see, I know a lot of people, when they hear that word equity, right, they thinking about your equitable increase in a home, right? They thinking about real estate, they thinking about investments, they thinking about a home, equity, right? But I'm here to create clarity for you like we always do. We're going to start out with the definition first so that we all can have the same understanding of what the word means, and then we're going to provide perspective on the context that we're using the word in, right? You see? So when most people hear the word equity, right, they thinking about real estate, they thinking about an investment, they thinking about a property, they thinking about something of value. But I'm here to tell you that your manhood is valuable. Yes, indeed. Your manhood, my manhood, is valuable, right? And we have to understand how to generate or how to create equity within manhood. See, equity is the behavior that increases your favor with other people. You understand me? Equity, as we're going to contextualize it or define it today, is the behavior that increases your favor with other people, right? So without further ado, let me grab my stylus. Got you right here, all right? Grab the stylus for you, okay? Now, like we always do, we're going to jump into the definition first, right? So we're talking about equity for the day, y'all, okay? Equity. Now, the first definition of the word equity, okay? Okay. All right. It says the state or quality of being fair, right? The state or quality of being fair, okay? The second definition for the word equity is ownership interest in a corporation, property, or other holding. Okay? Definition number 2. Right? Ownership. Interest in a corporation, property, or other holding. Okay? So this is, the second definition is the more common definition that we all probably have been more familiar with over the years when it's dealing with investments, property, real estate, things of that nature. We're talking about equity, right? And the third definition of the word equity, okay, is the value of a brand's reputation, right? The value of a brand's reputation. All right. Now, this is the context that we're going to use it in for today. We're going to focus on definition number 3. The value of a brand's reputation, right? Because you as a man, you are your own brand. You understand? You as a man are your own brand. My last name is Brown, so I'm Brand Brown. I'm Brand Jabbar, right? It's a certain way that Jabbar does things. It's a certain way that Jabbar says things. It's a certain way that Jabbar handles things, so forth and so on. You the same way as a man. You see, you your own man, so you create your own brand reputation, right? The value of your brand's reputation is also determined by your behavior, right? The value of your brand's reputation is determined by your behavior, which is why we chose to create a lesson on the word equity, because the equity is the behavior that increases your favor with other people. So now if you display the right behavior or if you display the right actions, it will increase the value of your brand's reputation as a man, okay? Now, the importance of possessing equity as a man cannot be overstated. You understand? Because what in essence you're doing is you are creating a standard for yourself and for others to know you by. It's almost like your calling card, right? If you're a person who is irresponsible, disrespectful, vulgar, crass, crude. You know, all of these things that would turn people off, all of this will decrease the value of your brand's reputation, right? So you as a man will not continue to hold that same value within the social circle or the professional circle that you display those behaviors in. But contrarily, if you display the opposite behaviors in those same environments, it will increase the value of your brand's reputation, meaning your manhood, your presence, and your name in those social circles, in those networking circles as well, right? There's no way to get around it. See, if people handle you with care, inclusion, and high regard, if they do handle you in that way, it's because at some point you've increased your equity with those people. Hello, I'm going to say it again. If people handle you with care, respect, and inclusion, the reason that they handle you in that way is because at some point you have increased your equity with those people, right? You, in that group of people who handle you in the way that you prefer, at some point you have displayed the behavior that increased your favor with those people. You see that? That's how that works. You see? So you have to always be mindful of your equity with people and the equity that you bestow in your brand, meaning your reputation as a man, the way that you handle things, the way that you present yourself, right? And subsequently, if people handle you in the opposite effect, it's because at some point you've tarnished your equity or you've decreased your equity with those people, right? Now, definition number 3 is critically important to us making our point, right? It's because what I see from a lot of men is, you know, they do things that don't bestow honor upon their name, and then when they get disrespected or they get mishandled in a way that they don't appreciate, they upset, and they don't know why these things are continuing to happen, right? So this is why we decided to help you out, you know, because each one should teach one, right? If you know a thing, you should be willing to teach a thing, right? And if you see your fellow brother who's struggling in a particular area and he doesn't have that understanding and to know why he's continuing to end up in the positions that he's in, and you know the answer, you should give it to him. You know, especially if, you know, he's diplomatic enough to ask you for, you should give it to him and try to help him out, right? What we want to do is we want to create the correlation to show how having the right amount of equity and using equity in your favor can be much more beneficial than maybe you've thought about in the past, right? See, your value and your brand as a man, you are your own person. It's like you your own nation, really. You know, you your own economy. You know, you are your own entity as a man. So you create for yourself what you want to have attached to you. Nobody is going to give you this stuff. You know, now we know certain families in this world that already have prestige and significance already in the world that we live in, but somebody at some point had to start building the value in that brand's reputation at some point, right? Somebody at some point, even for the families that we know for hundreds of years, their family always had money. For hundreds of years, their families have always been in politics. For hundreds of years, their families have always had significance, power, and influence, right? We know the names of those families. Why is it that way? It's because at some point, somebody took the equity of that family name, the equity of that man, and that manhood that he had to display for that time to create those results. He took that equity seriously. Hello. He took that equity seriously. He took the value of that brand and created the correct reputation so that one day his name and his family name could have value, right? Think of it like this, okay? Better yet, if you don't think of it in this way, it's going to be much easier for you to misrepresent yourself. I can promise you that. If you don't think of yourself as a man as being your own brand, being your own economy, being your own entity, your own nation, it'll be much easier for you as a man to misrepresent yourself, right? Because you don't already view yourself as having value, or you don't already view yourself or your reputation as being valuable. You see, if you don't understand equity and how this thing works, you won't view yourself as having value, and you won't view your reputation as being valuable enough to protect it and to elevate it and to increase it. And you won't be as conscious as you need to be to perform the behavior that increases your favor with people. Huh? Hello. Come on now. Come on now. Man, we talking about leadership, empowerment. We talking about edification, and we talking about education. You understand? That's what we about, man. We about leadership, empowerment, education. Education and understanding. Yeah. Now, you must believe that you have intrinsic value as a man already, right? Your value is internal, okay? Whether you get a nice car, whether you get a nice house, whether you get $2 million or not, you already have value. You know why? Because your species has created everything that you see in front of you right now. Now, we know God created the air and, you know, the clouds and the earth. I'm not talking about that. You know what I'm talking about. Like, don't be one of those people who just like to say stuff just for the sake of conversation and for the sake of wasting time. Nah. You know what I'm talking about. Whatever you see in front of your eyes right now, it was created twice. First in the mind of a man, and then second in front of the eyes of a man. First it was created by the mind's eye, and then it was created in front of your two eyes so that the rest of the world can see it. Huh? Come on, man. Check this out. A repeated example, okay, of the behavior that happens when people don't value themselves is just like this here, right? If you got a person who, whenever they come around, things just don't seem to go right. We all know one of those people, whether it's male or female, right? Things will be going good till this one person come around, okay? And when this one person come around, she getting into it with the other girl, he getting into it with, you know, one of the girls there or one of the guys there. It just changed the vibe. It changed the frequency in the room. You know, things are not flowing smoothly the way that they would normally flow before this person came around. All of that's because they don't understand the importance of establishing value in their brand's reputation. You see, they don't understand the importance of equity, displaying the behavior that increases your favor with people. You see, when they come around, people really don't even want them around. It's because they don't understand equity and how to build and establish and maintain equity with people. You see, equity works both ways. You see, if you increase in your equity with people, you perform a behavior that increases your favor with others. If you decrease in your equity with people, you performing a behavior that decreases your favor with other people. People get tired of you much more quicker. They don't want to be bothered with you. They don't want to talk to you as much. They don't invite you out as much. They don't want to hang with you. You understand? They don't want to do favors for you. You understand? It works in the opposite effect as well, but it all starts with you, and it all starts with you and how you carry yourself. You dig what I'm saying? I mean, seriously though, right? Seriously, man, we all have seen how these people carry themselves, right? And it's unbecoming and it's unfavorable that they handle themselves in that way, but it's all because they don't understand the value of their brand's reputation. Your behavior is your brand. Huh? Hello, I'm going to say it again, man. You know, your behavior is your brand. This is what people going to identify you with. So even if you made a mistake, if it made people feel a certain way, they still going to attach your behavior with what you did. They still going to attach your reputation with your behavior, even though it was a mistake. So you got to be very careful about how you carry yourself and how you represent and or misrepresent yourself in the public eye, in the eyes of others, because all of those things can help decrease your equity, and that's not what you want, right? Now, even so now another example for you, right? Look at the country we live in. We live in America, right? If you look at the way that America does things, right? In most cases, America can call any country and get a favor, right? Now, we know some people or some places that don't care for America, but the point that I'm making, right? I'm making a generalized point. I'm just using America as the example, okay? America can pretty much call majority of these countries and get a favor. Okay? And the reason being is because before they call for that favor, America has already produced the behavior that increased their favor with that country that they needed something from. You see? America has already produced the behavior that increased the favor in that relationship with a country that they needed something from before they even put the call on. And it's supposed to be like that with you and I as men. We supposed to already be performing the behavior necessary to increase our equity with other people before we need anything from them. We supposed to already have that foundation established, man, for being consistent and being stable and being established already. Right? And as a man, you should constantly be thinking about ways to increase your equity with other people in the correct way, right? And not by being a people pleaser, because that's not what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about groveling to nobody. I ain't talking about living on your knees. I ain't talking about kissing up to I'm not talking about that. We don't promote that. You don't have to do that. You understand? You don't have to do that. See, I'm here to show you how to get your mind right. Then I show you how to get your grind right. You get your grind right. Then I show you how to get your shine right. And when you get your shine right, I'm going to show you how to end up in the limelight. So when you follow all these steps, you ain't going to have to grovel, people please, ass kiss, none of that. Because your results and your actions are going to speak louder than all of that. You understand? That's not what I'm saying. See, you want to increase your equity. You want to increase your equity with people by being who you say you are. That's how you do that. You increase your equity with people by being the type of person that you say you are and being the outward appearance of stability. Huh? Hello, you have to be the outward appearance of stability. That's what men are here for. We here to provide stability. You understand? Emotional stability, physical stability, spiritual stability. You understand? You understand? Financial stability. You understand? Mental stability. You understand? Come on now. We here to provide stability. You understand? See, that's why it's critically important to know yourself and to educate yourself, because if you educated in the area that you may have a challenge in, you still going to be stable in providing a solution because you got all of the tools to create the answer. That's how your life should be. You see, and that's what these lessons are about. These lessons are here to make men wise again. You know, to create a standard of wisdom and of independence so that men can get back to being men and dominating and conquering the correct way, you know, and not always feeling like you overwhelmed and you getting ready to fall apart and you don't know how to do this and you don't know how to create the answers. No, it's called reliance. It's called self-reliance. That's what it's called, right? And the way that you rely on yourself and the way that you believe that you can rely on yourself is by educating yourself enough and having enough tools in your tool belt that any job will be easy for you. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. See, a man should be stable in all his ways. Huh? A man should be stable in all his ways. And you know the ways that you are and are not stable in. I can't make that choice for you, family. I can't make it for you, man, you know, and that ain't my job to draw any conclusions for you. My job as your mentor, as your manhood mentor, my job is to provide you with the tools necessary so that you draw your own conclusion, but you feel secure and confident enough that the conclusion you're drawing is the correct one. You dig what I'm saying now? When people see stable behavior from you, when people see consistently stable behavior from you, this is how you build value around your brand's reputation, right? When others see consistently stable behavior from you mentally, consistently stable behavior from you spiritually, consistently stable behavior from you physically, financially, and emotionally, this is how you establish and increase value around your brand's reputation. What's your brand? Your name. Your brand is your name. Your brand is your name. It don't matter who you think you are, okay? It don't matter who you think you are. It's what your behavior say. It's what your behavior say. You understand? And see, the more you behave a certain way, that's who you are, or at least that's what people are going to accept you as. So it's critically important, man. It's critically important to build and establish equity with people, because the equity that you establish with people is supposed to pay you back over the course of your walk in manhood. You understand? None of us get through this manhood thing on our own. You know, it's no nation that can stand alone. No nation that can stand alone, and it's no man. You can stand alone, but it don't mean that you're going to sustain yourself alone. You're going to have to tap in with somebody, someone else, or somewhere else at some point and get something done. And when that time comes, you want to have already established the equity in that relationship before you even got to reach out there for them resources, man. And check this out. When the people see that you consistently unstable in your ways and consistently unstable in your mentality, your speech, and your approach, it decreases your equity with those same people, and it'll cause those people to develop a negative connotation and a negative attitude towards you, and that's not what we want. You see, and you know, I see guys at times, you know, when they may be in a relationship and they get with a girl, and then, you know, they more interested in the girl, but they could care less about the girl family. Her brother, her cousin, her father, her uncle, her nephew, her niece. And, you know, it's your choice. But when you understand yourself and your position as a man, and you understand how manhood works, right, you have to always present yourself as a nation. You are a nation within yourself. You got to look at yourself like you building a brand at all times. Okay? And when you look at yourself like you building a brand at all times, you will understand how important your reputation is. And you will understand how important the value of your reputation is, right? So even if you don't care for them as much as, you know, we would hope or you would expect to, you don't have to put that out there on Front Street, right? You got to remain stable in all your ways, even in the face of opposition, as best you can. Right? And we all make mistakes, but as best you can, right? Because people want to be able to look at you as a man as the measure of stability. Huh? See, they want to be able to look at you as a man as the measure of stability. So that when opposition does come your way, you stable enough in those areas to be able to withstand that, to sustain yourself, to overcome that, and to create a solution on the back end, right? Now, one of the ways that we can establish and increase equity with people, right, is to establish a set of behaviors for ourselves that we can be proud of, right? When we as men, first and foremost, establish a set of behaviors for ourselves that we can be proud of, at that time, now we've created a foundation for ourselves and we've begun to build equity with ourselves first. And then when we get around others, now we can allow that outward appearance of what we've already established internally to be on display and become our calling card. So look, guys, I hope somebody learned something today. I always have fun when I get a chance to come and fellowship with the family, right? Until the next time, you know, upward bound. Peace and love. Hello.